Well, good morning, Sharon. How are you today?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I am really good because I started the morning with Mr. Murph on the beach this morning, which was fantastic. Have
Oh,
you had a great start?
I've had a really good start. We are 2 days into our school term, so
Yes.
just getting back into our routine, but just
Yeah.
loving the sunshine at the moment. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here to have my biz chat because we've connected now twice, haven't
Yes.
we? So I'm wondering if you want to share what our connection is, how we've
Uh,
done that.
yeah, well, it's a bit of a full circle moment. So back when I was a graduate teacher, so we're looking at 20 years ago.
Be kind, Sharon.
Yeah. Way back in Werribee, I actually came across a lot of your resources, and I remember just loving how practical they were, how easy they were to implement, and it just made, as a new teacher, as a graduate, it just made such a difference. And I guess it's years later, be what, 4 years now, 3 years now, we sort of reconnected through it, networking. And
Yes,
we've just instantly connected from there. And since then, I think we've developed such a beautiful friendship.
absolutely.
And I've just loved having you as someone I can talk to about business and family and
Gosh, and I love
life.
you because
And
you do my photos and my B-roll and help me out when I need anything
yeah,
technology. Like
yeah.
you're amazing. We couldn't
Oh,
live.
thank you. But
So
I found it's just such a supportive relationship. And I just really think it speaks to how powerful connection is because, I mean, it's such an early touch point in my teaching career. You just don't know
yeah,
where that will all lead.
I just think we underestimate connection. I think in my position, connecting with teachers and principals, but also, as you said, in my small business, like
Mhm.
my friends that are in small business are my anchor. They
Yeah,
help me get through
absolutely.
some, tricky times and like
Yeah,
problem solving together and also their
absolutely.
expertise, which is, how you've helped me out with your amazing photography expertise.
Thank you.
That's been a savior on many occasions. And the reason why, Sharon, I've invited you on, well, there's a whole list. I couldn't have done this without you. But the one reason I want to get you to talk about is your tips around actually leaving teaching and starting something new because it is that time that, a lot of people are thinking about is teaching for me forever or
Yep,
is, what else is out there. And I think also you'll share with us the skill set that we have as teachers and how they are transferable. And I think that's important for us to remember, even if we're going to stay in teaching, like how talented we are as a group of
absolutely.
professionals. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, oh gosh, I think most people go into teaching not for the holidays, not for the pay.
No,
They
definitely not the pay.
definitely not the pay, especially in Victoria. But I think a lot of people go into teaching for that sense of connection and that sense of purpose and giving back. They're
Mm,
doing something amazing. Not
yes.
everybody can do this job.
No.
And I think for me, like I left teaching, and that's like a whole, like that's almost like a podcast actually talking
Yes.
about why I left. But I think that people who go into teaching it's because they love working with people, they love building relationships, and I think the skills that we have that are so transferable, and it's not the ability to, multitask and take notes and all that stuff. It's the ability to understand different personalities, needs, the ability to read a room,
Yeah.
to be able to create structure and safe spaces and environments, and also our adaptability in the way we can communicate and work with different people. So, whether you're a primary or secondary teacher, you're working with different students, you're working with your colleagues, you're working with leadership teams, you're working with people who are coming in to visit the school, whether they're
Yeah.
coming in a specialist role, whether they're coming in to do school photos, you're interacting with parents and allied health people. It's You need to be able to communicate in such a way that not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
And I think what I loved most about teaching, it wasn't the content, it was that sense of connection and that sense of purpose that you're helping someone to grow.
I mean, that communication skills you would be using in
Mm,
your small business, because I know that you specialize working with schools, but you also specialize working with small business people like
absolutely.
myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand that's directly transferable. And I
Mhm.
agree about reading the room. I
Mhm.
agree how that is something that you build up as a skill.
Yeah,
And you're right, in a school situation, you've got multiple audiences and you have to understand the communication that matches that purpose. So
absolutely.
yeah, that's a really good observation.
Yeah.
And what else have you think that you've taken from teaching?
Can coordinate, I can organize, I can build structures. They're all things that we don't actually think about. That is something that we
Yes.
automatically do as teachers. So it doesn't matter if you're stepping out of the classroom, if you have the ability to create schedules and timetables and performers and documents, and you're able to data entry. Like there's always other skills that come along with just being a teacher. It's
Yeah.
our ability to scaffold information, to teach content at 3, 4, 5 different points of entry
Mm,
for the people
yeah.
in our room. um,
Because I mean, I would imagine like as and I know that we've worked together, and I mean, I'm in the optimum position here because I know that you do that because you also scaffold me as we're working together. You
mhm.
ask me questions, you see how comfortable I am, like
Yep.
not many people like to be in front of a camera. I'm definitely not one of those people that do.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that level of scaffolding and support that you give. But I always feel that when we're working together, you're focusing me as an individual, like what does my business need and
Yep.
how comfortable I feel as an
Yep.
individual in front of the camera. So when you think about those two, well, they're two really good tips for teachers to think about how their communication style or skills, you know, that is very transferable. And yes, the idea of being organized and the ability to scaffold people definitely transfers directly out of the classroom to a small business
Absolutely.
setting.
And
Absolutely.
they're very much things that teachers do without being aware of it. It becomes that second
Yes.
nature. It's so
Yeah.
ingrained. And you can often spot a teacher when you're out and about, just the
Mm.
way that they're either talking to somebody or they'll change that tone of voice depending on how they're interacting with people. Like even just yesterday, I was at a photo shoot, photographing a guest speaker from the Black Dog Institute. And she was speaking about mental fitness to the Islamic College of Sport, and it was year 11 and 12 students.
Wow.
And so she was coming in, and the teacher had spoken to the students, and she goes, the way that I spoke with her, the way I spoke with the teacher who was working with the students, and then the way I could direct the students, she goes, it was amazing just watching that switch between working with
Mm.
different groups of people. And it wasn't like I need to, like, can you please do this? It was, she goes, I could
Yeah.
see the teacher in you kind of,
Mm.
like, it just comes out.
Yeah.
So there are so
Absolutely.
many things that when you're teaching, especially if you've been doing it for a while, that you do without actually even thinking about it. There's such automatic skills.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Mm.
really cool. So, is there one more thing? Because we've been working kind of on three things with everyone I
Mhm.
speak to. Have you got another thing that you feel, or a tip, or something else that you've transferred over to your small business?
I think
Yeah.
something else is about being consistent. So building up that sense of trust. Um,
Yes.
I think that, when teaching, you show up every day, your good days, your bad days, their
Yep.
good days, their bad days. You have to be consistent. You need to be um, someone that they can trust.
Yeah, I think that's that whole being that competence too. Like
Mhm.
if I said I'm going to be there, I'll be there, or if I can't make it, I'll make sure that that whole competence thing as a small business. I
Yeah.
also think that something that you haven't really sold yet is your ability with technology because you are extremely gifted in technology in the classroom, but I wonder if you could just think about a couple of ways you use technology in your business that
Mhm.
has been transferable. I know that you're an expert with Canva, so
Yeah.
that's been something that you've
Yeah.
helped me learn about. But I
Yeah.
think that even like tell us about like your socials or your the way you use technology to capture your day to share with people.
Okay. Well, I think for me, I'm not particularly worried about being in front of the camera. And I think it's that part of that, you're sort of front and center and you're talking with your students. And I found particularly when I was working with the 6 to 8 students that I had, they would often say, "Oh, hang on a second, can you say that again? I didn't get
Mm,
that. Can you explain that again?" And they would pull out their iPads and actually record me so that when they went home to review stuff, they would
yeah, nice.
have those videos and that information. And we actually were working quite strongly on bringing in those flipped classrooms, being able to use the technology into how we can present the information. And back when I was at Northern Bay College, we actually had the switch channel where the teachers would create video content, put it
Mm,
on our own YouTube channel, and then the children across the different campuses would be able to access that information.
wow.
And we got to the point where students were able to explain those concepts that they had learnt. So we basically said, let's turn it to you. You can
Mm,
explain, we've been learning about Pythagoras. We've been learning about
yeah.
how to draw isometric shapes. Like, can you create a video to explain that learning? And a number of the students would actually go, well, here is our learning intention and here is our success criteria. This is what you should be able to do by the time you finish watching
Yeah,
this
nice.
video. Um, and so a lot of those skills that I used in the classroom with creating the content for them, either in the classroom or for them to refer back to afterwards, is the same skills that I utilize now in business. So
Yeah.
I have the tripod set up with, the phone or something connected to it. So I'm creating videos, I'm doing stuff, I'll do a screen recording of what I'm doing. I'm constantly typing in notes, and I've got, post-it notes everywhere. I've
Mm,
got a Trello wall with post-it notes all over my board here, and I'm constantly, in my phone taking notes. So it's always using whatever tools I've got around me to jot down
mm,
ideas, inspiration. I'll be, if I've been talking with a client, I'll be like, oh, this is something great that we can also build into what they're doing.
yeah.
Um, so I find a lot of those skills that I had in the classroom, I've transferred them across without even thinking
Yes.
um, about how I'm using those. So
Mm,
whether it's Canva, and we used iMovie, and we've moved into QuickTime, and there's other software with Adobe and everything else. But it's just using those skills to just capture what it is I'm doing as a way to explain how to do something, or as a way for, I guess, my audience on social media to also see who I am if they haven't actually met me face to face.
yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, your handle is Studio Collins Photography, so it's easy to find, and your socials are very engaging.
Thank you.
I love it how you've given us three ways, or three different ways you've transferred. Have you got a handy hint for people who are teachers and thinking about starting their business? Is there one piece of advice you'd give them?
One piece of advice: I think if you're serious, whether it's something you do as a hobby. For me, I always had a camera. I was always
Yeah,
taking photos and doing stuff like that. And when I transitioned out, it was just seemed natural that I would follow more of a
yeah,
creative path. But I think if there's something, if you want to still work with students, whether you move into an educational adjacent
yes,
field or step completely out, I think you just need to take the leap.
yeah. Be brave.
Just be brave. You
Mm,
need to give yourself, set up some funds so you can give yourself some time to actually go out and explore it.
mm,
I had a friend who stepped out of the classroom, and she had put enough money away that she could give 6 months really solid go
wow.
at setting up her business and getting started. And it was, she took long service leave. She um, just took leave without pay as well. So she could have that 6 months and just go red hot go, give it a go, try it, see if it works, build up a client base. And if it worked, it worked. If it didn't,
Mm,
she could step back
yeah,
if that was the case.
yeah.
But I think you have to back yourself.
Yeah. And I think you're right about choosing something that you're passionate about, like something that comes to you, like teaching naturally. You said, like, we do so much as teachers that we don't realize it's the same. I think when you go into small business, it's got to be something that you really feel that you feel comfortable with.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, be that would be that would be really good advice. And I think sometimes I don't know when I decided to start a small business. I wrote down things that I really enjoyed and made sure that when I was in my small business, even though I went to an educational base, but what did I actually enjoy? I enjoyed project work. I enjoyed being in the classroom. I enjoyed helping people. I enjoyed being innovative, like having, I suppose, permission or space to be innovative. And
Yeah.
that has always been kind of my key, that if that's not happening in my small business, I have to change what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
I think that's really
and
important.
it's absolutely aligning it with your values as well. So
Mm,
you can't do something you're not passionate about.
mm,
And if you find that you are starting to lose that passion, it's like, well, what can you do
yeah,
to either reinvigorate that? So it could
yeah,
be changing schools, taking on a new role. It could be expanding your education,
yeah,
becoming an
I
expert in
agree.
a slightly different field, but still within
Yeah,
classroom settings. But there are so many organizations that teaching is such a worthwhile skill to have, whether it's an environmental organization, whether it's someone who's doing incursions with schools and things like that.
yeah, yeah,
There's
true.
so many apps, so many options out there. And I think for education, like people in education, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to being understood and feeling connected and having that purpose you're giving back in some way.
Yep, I agree. And I think we would both give the same advice here, Sharon, is like, having people in your world.
Mm-hmm,
We're strong friends now, but people in your world that you can talk through when
mm-hmm.
you're starting off. And I don't even think that necessarily needs to be a formal coach, or
Oh,
necessarily needs to be someone even in your same business.
mm-hmm,
Like, you and I, we're able to, and we meet with two other professionals as well, but we're not doing the same business. We've got
mm-hmm.
different businesses, but we're able to support each other or
Absolutely.
reach out to each other. So would be thinking about, if you were transitioning to a small business, thinking about, following your small business page in your area on Facebook, or connecting with
Absolutely.
someone that you can pick up the phone and go, oh my goodness, what does this mean?
Yeah, and
This has
that's
landed in my email box. What do I do?
absolutely. And that's one of the things I found moving from the classroom to working for myself. It's quite lonely.
Yes,
You know,
yes. Yep.
in one sense, like I do not miss all the staff meetings and everything else.
Now, come on, you miss writing reports. I know. Stop it.
Oh, absolutely. I miss the report writing. Um, but it is quite lonely. There is no,
Yep.
having a lunch break and bumping into people and going, oh, dear God, what are we going to do
Mm,
about this? And have you
yeah.
finished that? You are you're your own person and you
Yep.
can only talk to your partner so much.
Yeah. Business people are now accessing more online opportunities to hook up, because
Absolutely.
we did that, right? We had to do that. But I mean, there is, as I said, there's always local small support group people, and there's also often free professional learning for small business people out there as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
so don't, if you're watching this today and you're thinking about, even considering or investigating moving to a small business, really look at what's available locally for you, for
Absolutely.
that support network.
Yeah. And Business Victoria have got so many opportunities
Oh,
where they have
incredible.
networking events. They have
Yes.
the bus where you can go in and speak to someone who can
Mm,
get business advice. But even just get on Facebook. There are so many groups on Facebook, and you can search by your area and I think particularly since COVID, a lot of groups have formed so that small business owners and solopreneurs can actually get together and have a coffee
yeah.
and just talk. Not
Mm,
necessarily about business either. Sometimes it's just
no,
nice to have someone to talk
no.
about life, and then it kind of becomes, I guess it's like those chats you'd have in a staff room.
Yeah, exactly. I totally
It's not
agree.
always work based,
Yeah. But the
but
bell doesn't go.
bell doesn't go. You can have another coffee, and you can go to the toilet whenever you like,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, a positive.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's really important to find your people outside of education,
Yeah.
because in education there is always someone you can reach out to, whether it's from previous schools and networking and PDs, and someone always knows someone. But when you step out of that area,
Yeah.
as I did so completely out of education, it is a bit lonely trying to navigate and
Yeah.
find, not necessarily a business coach, but just somebody who you can talk to about non-education stuff. How do I
Yeah.
how do I get a business plan up and running? How do I sort out all those little nitty gritty
Mm.
things that you don't even think about until you're sitting there going, what don't I know?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really
Mm,
good strategy, and I think that small business owners have come a long way being able to build communities and networks, which is great. And I mean, one person that we collaborate with is in New South Wales, so so that's been really cool that we can all jump online together.
absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you, Sharon, so much. Thanks for being part of my business celebration. And I know that I often work with teachers that are saying to me, I'm looking, Andrea, and I think just listening to you, someone who has, I mean, obviously I chat about what I've done, but I'm still in the education field, but
Yeah,
you've taken something so, you have stepped out of that. I think it's been really important how you've made it very clear how your teacher skills are being transferable to a really successful
absolutely.
photography business.
Absolutely.
So I will pop all your handles of your socials. If you're not following Sharon already, you need to because yeah, your work is really, really at a high level, and you're very, very, I mean, one time, you're working with me, and then you're doing photos at a school, and then you're doing a house photo, and then you're doing a speaker photo. So
Yeah.
you have got a immense range of skills, and yeah, if anyone's looking for a photographer, I can 100% guarantee Sharon will be the right person. She'll bring her teacherness to your shoot, which
Oh,
is really cool.
absolutely. I'll have you organized and structured, and we'll have a
Yeah, don't
checklist
you
of
worry about that.
all
Yeah,
the things.
just
We're
what we
not missing
need.
anything.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sharon, so much for your time, and I
No,
hope
thank you.
your term continues to be a great term because you said you've had a great start.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping everyone here presses a follow on the socials of Sharon. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. And happy 18th birthday as well.
Oh, I know. Thank you. I wish it was my real 18th, just not my
Oh,
biz
I know.
18th.
I know. I know.
Thanks, Sharon.